how'd you get to second and third, or combining the 2 and 3? Or maybe you combined 1 and 3. I'm not sure which ones you combined, but like, how did you get to the second and third then?
Yeah, so we kept growing here at the first store that I bought, and there was a store not very far, just a few blocks from us, and I knew that the owner was nearing retirement. And so I had kind of reached out to him and talked to him quite a bit and just said, hey, if you ever want to sell, my wife's a pharmacist too. She was working for a chain. We didn't have the money at the first location yet for us both to work here.
Okay.
And so I said, we would love to have, the extra business to bring her as well. And it was hard because her whole family is from this town, grandmas and uncles and aunts. And so they're wondering, why is the hometown girl who we've all been so excited about to become a doctor of pharmacy not working in the store that you guys own? And we were trying to make it, so that I was the kind of the stand in the front, because we knew we wanted to have kids one day and she might not want to work every day of the week.
Right.
And so what was hard for her family is she wasn't number one in the store, and it didn't make sense to make her number 2 either. We needed another pharmacist, so God forbid we want to go on vacation sometime or have a family emergency.
Yeah.
And so we actually had to build the business big enough to hire a second pharmacist full time. And then we were positioned at that point to buy that second store.
Okay.
And we bought it and we combined it under the roof just because of location. It was a really decent business that they had going there. We hired a lot of their staff.
Okay.
And so, at this point, I didn't even have all the certifications in psychology and stuff that I do now. I was just trying to make, originally a staff of people who had been there for 30 years do new things, like give a flu shot or do an MTM session, consider a little bit of disease state along with the drugs. So I had to learn a little bit of employee engagement doing that. And then growing the store, they were in a spot where they didn't want to grow. I mean, literally, they would answer the phone the first week I was here. They would listen to the patient, put them on hold, and they would say, hey, someone's calling for a price on XYZ drug. They're not our patient. So I should give them a higher price, right? So they don't come here. And it's just like, I couldn't even believe it. So I had to change that mindset. And then I hired everyone who wanted to keep working from the second store I bought. The only one that didn't was a great lady who is still very good friends of ours, but she was into her 70s already and had told the owner of that store she was going to retire 10 years before, and she wouldn't retire till he did. So so we bought that, combined under the roof. So now we had old staff. I had new staff whenever we had grown, and then I moved the staff from that store into, and then the third store wasn't until about 3 years after that. And it again was a store that was about 20 minutes from me, and it was ran really well. The owner of it was really young, and so I just think she was pretty scared of DIR fees and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So we bought it, and she's been wonderful. She still works there a lot for me, even though we own it. And it was a perfect transition because I had a phenomenal student who I had convinced to come back and work for me at the store number 1. And she has an MBA and a PharmD. And so she had learned all my systems at store 1 before we put her at store 3. And so she's a fit pharmacy manager down there, and it's been beautiful. I mean, she's very, very smart, very smooth, very efficient. But again, that owner that sold, I think it's always good to have a good relationship with whoever you're buying from. And, she will text me at, 11 o'clock at night to say, somebody forgot to pick up their kid. This really happened. True story. A few weeks ago, someone forgot to pick up their kid's seizure medicine, and she wanted to know if she could go in and get it for them, because I would see that she turned the alarm off and turned it back on in the middle of the night. And you can't beat that.
Yeah,
I said, absolutely. Thanks for doing it. I'm laying in bed. I don't want to get out of bed and go do that. I would, but thank you for doing that.